You all are users. You all are users of this industry, and it has its fancy word, merchandising. You can see its results that is created by people working in merchandising industry in retail shops. On a regular basis, when you enter any shop, you are a user or even a victim of this industry. This industry's goal is to make you want to buy more. And that's okay. In my family, for the last 20 years, I'm the one doing shopping. Somehow, it's not that I particularly like it, but I'm the man with a list in the shop. So merchandising doesn't really work on me, at least I think so. And when my kids were small, aged like 3, 4, 5, something like that, it was about 10 years ago, I was really afraid of taking with me into the shop my kids. Because I was having those imaginary scenes in my mind about fights, about some crying and anxious situations with kids in the shop when they want it all, because merchandising people have made sure that they want it all. So there was this one occasion I was driving my car with my kids in the back seat, and I had to do shopping. I had a list. And I said to my little girls back then, I said, we are going to go into the shop to buy some groceries. And they were like, yeah, we're going to the shop. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to the shop. And I said, there's one condition. We have to make a deal. We'll go into the shop, and if you want something, I can buy you something, but there's just one piece for each, okay? Just one thing you can have. Yeah, okay, no problem. I'm like, it was too easy. I said, no, you don't understand. There are people, merchandising professionals. They place things in a shop. So you'll take one thing, I will agree on that one thing, and the next step you will want another one. And you will say, Daddy, can I have two? And I will say, no, we just agreed on one thing, okay? So their faces became less happy, less smiley. They're like, oh, okay, that's the condition. Because you're too young to be left in a car, so I have to take you with me into the shop. And it actually worked. It wasn't so that they were very happy with the experience as such, but it was decent. And the next time I had to do shopping, and it happened to be with my little princesses, I said, we're going to go to the shop. You know the rule? Yeah, just one thing for each. And the faces were more happy each and every time because they understood the rule clearly, and they started to discuss things they could take from the shop or buy from the shop. And Martha was asking Paula, and Paula was asking back, or they were even arguing and discussing what would be the best. So after several occasions, we stopped talking about it because it was a system created. It was an agreement that we sort of signed or agreed upon. After several years, again in a grocery shop, my youngest daughter, she was about 5 or so at that age, maybe 6, she placed another thing in a basket and asked for permission. Daddy, can I have this one? Can we have this one? And I looked at it and it was sort of healthy stuff, and I said, yeah, why not? And she said, but that's 2 things now. I'm like, oh, we are way past that phase. It's fine. As far as it's compliant with our needs back in home. So this sort of agreement really worked. We all have different agreements with people, with companies. That's part of our everyday business. And in your future, you will have many more written agreements in paper, electronically, and so forth. And you know that agreements have clauses in them. That if you don't pay, for example, to your telecommunications provider, they switch off your internet back at home. If you don't pay, there are consequences. You could be fined. You need to pay some penalties. We all know that. But what about agreement with yourself? Because agreements with others is made for you to be responsible, for you to be accountable, so that you behave. But agreements with yourself, it's a bit different because it's very difficult to maintain the accountability, but it is possible if the agreement is small enough, short enough, and precise enough. Others might call it discipline, and that's also a nice word, I think. But to me, it's too abstract. We all know that high achievers, successful people are disciplined. They have routine in the morning, for example, waking up, working out, reading, doing stuff. We admire them for their discipline, but it's difficult to integrate that discipline into our everyday lives. So I believe in those minor steps that we can take, in those little, short, simple agreements that we can make on everyday basis, like I did with my kids whenever we had to go together to the shop, right? And that's a nice concept, I think, and I practiced it on everyday basis, actually. I'm in communications field. I train people in public speaking, the thing I'm doing now. So I'm okay with being on stage, but I know that a lot of people are not okay with being on stage. And a lot of people are not okay with being in people, in society, in university, in conference, or whatever is the occasion. So the next time you attend classes in a university, you can ask yourself, so what is my day going to be about? Okay, I have 5 classes today, meaning 4 breaks. So what I could do is I could meet or get to know 4 new people from my class, my classmates. So I could be, the initiative could come from me. I could approach people. I know it's scary, but that's written in agreement. And I can sign with myself the agreement that today is going to be the day. Or for the weeks I've been willing to talk to that professor about specific question or opinion of mine that probably is a bit opposite of his opinion. And today I'm going to sign the agreement that I'm finally approaching the professor. I really believe, and I see this working in actual life. Myself, attending the conference without big passion about the theme or people I'm going to meet. So I'm boosting up my, passion and my happiness and my smiley face. The agreement goes like this. I'm going to smile twice as much as I usually do. I know it's fake, but they don't know it. Well, I'm going to spend time only with people I don't know, not more than 3 minutes with each and every one. Instead of regular pattern, which is entering the room and looking for familiar faces and then sticking with the familiar people for the whole evening. That's what usually people do when networking. And they think that they do networking. They don't. So in my life now, there's another agreement, and I'm quite sure that some of you in the room or watching this in the internet also have. It has this huge title. It's flashy words. It's named sugar. That's a strong one. I mean, the opponent in this agreement. This agreement has been actual and of my interest for several occasions now. I've been breaking that agreement, and it's in my agenda again. For example, yesterday, I'm attending a really fancy office. I need to meet a person. We agreed on a meeting. So normally they say something like, tea, coffee, water, maybe. I say, well, green tea would be nice. So I'm actually, in the end, making my green tea myself with the person, and we're chatting, and she offers me a nice piece of chocolate. And I said, well, no thanks. Why? Because I have this flashy thing in my head, which says agreement, title, sugar. I mean, the content of the agreement is not eat more sugar. It's the opposite, okay? It's eat no sugar. And she goes like, she's very convincing. She says, well, but we ordered this nice chocolate. It's from Austria. It's, dark chocolate. It's kind of healthy. And I'm like, in my head, are Austrians famous with their chocolate? I mean, what is this about? Why is she convincing? She's so convincing. No, thanks. I have this agreement with myself. No sugar for this period. And she's, oh, agreement? Oh, fine. Yeah, they respect that. So sometimes you can even say it out loud. I have the agreement. Or you do networking with your classmates or conference attendees, and you say, you know what? I promised myself that this evening or this today, I'm going to introduce myself to 5 new people that I don't know, and I just have to go. Sorry. We exchanged business cards. We discussed matters. I need to move on and usually they say, well, good luck with that. Sounds like a nice plan. So agreements hold you accountable if you truly believe in them and sign somehow in your mind those agreements. So I think it's a good advice. Wouldn't you agree with that? But you know what? Most people suck at following advices. So there's a very high probability that you will not follow this advice as well. And that's fine. I mean, who am I to give you advice? But if for some reason you find this system appropriate and that it could work in your life, those little, tiny, small agreements, short, simple, some bigger, more complex, depends. In the long run, it plays out really nicely. For your health, for your social bonds, professional achievements, social status, and things like that. So don't take my advice, create your own system, and start with some action, because I believe that action speaks louder than words, and that's an idea worth spreading. Thank you. Thank you.